Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
Ah, Holy Mary, Mother of God, what have you done now?
I stole something from a video game shop.
Alright, well, I hope it's at least something good. What the feck? What are you playing at? That's an R-zone. Those things are shit.
I don't know, I was drawn to it somehow.
The devil has a hold on you, child. You're gonna have to repent. Or, just take it back to the shop.
Ha! Yeah. No, I'm not doing that.
In that case, you're just gonna have to do a review on it.
Alright.
No, I don't think you understand. Those things are feckin' bollocks.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna leave before someone gets offended by your portrayal of an Irish priest.
That's fair enough, so. Wonder what part of Ireland I'm from.
I'm super sorry, going glitches, graphics on my mind. Like a contra code, I'm full of life, but little out of time. We can play together, you can play it, what kind of play too, as long as it's a good controller and I get to sit with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna need an absolute assload of antidepressants. Assload. Even if you're no gaming aficionado, you've probably heard of Tiger Electronics. This company has churned out so many electronic toys that you're bound to have come across them at some point or other. And Tiger were especially big in the 90s for their LCD games. If you want to see a nice little collection of Tiger LCD games, then check out Kingdom of Carts on YouTube. I pestered them to send me photos and footage of their collection so I wouldn't have to buy this crap myself. Look at this. Absolutely excellent. Is that a crocodile? These bad boys were a common item in playgrounds in the 90s. If we're being utterly brutally honest, they were kind of crap. No, drop the nostalgia, they really were crap.
Tiger LCD video games. Video excitement in the palm of your hand.
Look, there's even an MC Hammer one. Jesus. But maybe Tiger thought it was time to take things to the next level and release an actual console. Tiger released the R-Zone headset in 1995, with a colour scheme very similar to that of the Jaguar released the previous year. The design is clearly meant to exude coolness. The R-Zone headset is often cited as being Tiger's response to Nintendo's Virtual Boy. I suppose it could be a response, but it certainly wasn't meant to compete. Rather, it presented an alternative to what was quite an expensive console. Cash-strapped parents might opt for this sleek, cheapo version in the hope of keeping the kids quiet. And after all, cheap gaming alternatives had already worked very well for Tiger with its handheld LCD games.
You better not blink. Indy 500 roars into the R-Zone.
The set was bundled with a few different games, but I don't think it was ever sold separately. It retailed for about $30 on release, which, adjusted for inflation, is about $49 today, or about 35 quid. I mean, for a console, that is pretty cheap. And bear in mind that the Tiger handhelds that school children were so fond of were only about $20. While that was considered to be kind of cheap, you only needed to save up another $10 to get a system that could play all of those Tiger games. Now that is awesome. Or as we said in the 90s, rad! Look at this package, it's weird. That pointless plastic head in there really catches your eye, although when you pull it out of the packet you realise how stupid it is. Now basically what you have here is a kind of elongated self-contained Tiger LCD game. It takes 4 AA batteries which all go into the controller. The controller has this little slot where you can house a game if you want to, but the carts that are being played need to go in the eyepiece. If you look inside the eyepiece that the cart gone in, you will see that it's back to front. That's because once the unit is turned on, a light will pass through the clear window of the cartridge and the reflection will be seen on the underside of this reflective bit of see-through plastic which goes in front of your eye. Now that's all well and good if your sight is alright in the eye that the unit goes over. However, I happen to be blind in my right eye due to childhood amblyopia. That's not a quirk of the Octavius character, that is actually true. So I can't see a damn thing. So let's just move it over. Well, now it's at the wrong angle for me to see the game. The way the head unit is designed with this hard plastic part being moulded into a curve, it will only fit on the right side of your forehead and not the left. And no matter how you angle it, put this thing on the left side of your forehead or even in the middle and you won't be able to see anything but the very edge of the play screen. I tried every angle, trust me on this. It was like a tatty Kama Sutra. I'm told by people who do actually have 2 functioning eyes that the R-Zone games have about as much depth as Kylie Jenner, so I don't know if I'd be missing much. Well, I've got to wear the headset to be able to review it fairly, so I'm just going to have to put it on upside down. I am getting flashbacks to some interesting sexual encounters right now. Oh. Lucifer himself!
Good evening, Octavius.
Wow, I was not expecting that voice to come out of that body.
I am here to take your soul. That thing you have there. It is a demonic talisman. I have been capturing and stealing the souls of people stupid enough to buy it for aeons. Well, since 1995, anyway. You were drawn to this object because you were destined to be mine.
Well, I'm not evil though, I've never done anything wrong. Well, okay, but I haven't killed anyone. Wait.
Ah, yes, the fun part. The victim always begs for their soul. I do find it most amusing.
Wow, you're sick.
I'm the devil. Look, perhaps we can make this a little more fun. If you can play the R-Zone for another, say, 18.5 minutes, minus time needed for adverts and end card, I will allow you to keep your soul. But I will warn you, this contraption has made men many times stronger than you, completely insane.
Wow, your voice is deep. I think we're going to need subtitles. Did you say R-Zone or R?
I said R-Zone.
Okay, alright, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Good.
What are you doing?
I was going to watch you.
Oh, well, while you're there, could you just move that light for me?
Sure.
Oh, god damn it, Satan.
Sorry.
The Tiger handheld LCD games work by lighting up one particular part of the screen at a time. The entire screen is covered in static images which then light up one after the other and give the illusion of movement. Really slow, like 2 frames per second movement, but movement nonetheless. It's actually very impressive to see the entire screen lit up and see how carefully each separate action has been arranged on the screen. Just to clarify, the R-Zone carts also use LCD, which is why, as we will see, the resulting games look very much like the ones on the Tiger handhelds. This is my Batman and Robin cart, which as you can see is damaged due to some moisture getting in there. To be honest, I don't think it's going to make the game any worse, but it does show how cheap and rubbish these things are. Let's put it in! Oh, for crying out loud, just look at the state of me. I just know someone's going to wank to this. Pretty much all of the games for the R-Zone were licensed. Tiger got hold of a lot of movie licenses and drained them dry, using them for their handheld tat, and then for their second console, the Gamecom, which I've also reviewed if you want to check it out. The game action happening on the see-through game window is reflected on the back of this bit of pearlescent plastic. This thing falls off very easily, including if you move your head a bit too quickly. It does look to me like this one was originally attached by glue, but I've heard a lot about this plastic bit being lost, and I see a few on eBay with this bit missing, so I guess it's just a common design problem with this thing. I'm going to try and give at least some footage of the games playing on this thing, but please do forgive the bad setup. I've had to simply film down into the eyepiece too, because you can barely see frig all on that reflective screen and it wouldn't show up on film. Well, let's take a look at the game and see if it's worth the hassle. The music for Tiger games has always been loud and shrill. You can expect it from these things. But now imagine that music directly next to your ear. You can turn the sound on and off, but you can't turn it down. You have the choice of silence or tinnitus-inducing ear yeeting. Yeeting, right? Am I cool now? I'll be honest, I've got no idea what that means. In this game, basically, Batman is trying to have a nice little walk, but Mr. Freeze's henchmen just come barreling out of nowhere and deck him. In response, he can flick a batarang, punch, or do this ridiculous 125-degree backwards kick while spinning his head around like he just broke his neck. You can start the game as either Batman or Robin by pressing the select button. The difference between them? Robin doesn't have dinky, adorable little bat ears. By the way, the characters on the screen look very, very bright. After you play it with the reflective screen, once you take the damn thing off, you'll be seeing imprints of Batman doing this ridiculous spine-breaking kick everywhere you look. After a couple of minutes trying to play it, I started to feel sick. And I don't think that's because I have to play the sodding thing upside down. It being so close to your eyes and a little bit fuzzy, and when you can also see through it what's in front of you, it confuses your eyes and brain, and it had me feeling sort of travel sick. In the original patent, it actually states that being able to see through the screen over your eye is the preferable production option. I honestly don't know why Tiger thought this was a good move. Well, the patent does show a diagram of two fighters on the screen of the unit fighting in front of a room. Perhaps in some way it's meant to look like the game is happening in your front room, because if it is supposed to look like that, it frigging doesn't. If you do get past this first bit, you get to the second part of the game. Now you're playing as Batgirl, and she's speeding along on a motorbike while a load of random thugs come flying from the sides of the road. She can't do anything aside from just move left and right.
Well, this is the part that makes me feel most unwell, because of the road moving. And also because it's shit.
What doesn't help is this controller. The buttons are stiff, and this doesn't help when the action on the screen is so slow. It's hard to respond quick enough to get to the baddies before they get a hit in on you. I got Kingdom of Cards to dig out their original Batman and Robin LCD game to see if Tiger at least changed the game for the R-Zone, but of course they didn't. That would have meant paying for more R&D, and they needed that money for, well, just to have it, to add to the pile they were sitting on, like a big tatty dragon.
Oh, my eye!
The flames and bits of hell await you. Thousands of souls must play the R-Zone for all eternity.
Okay, I can do this. What are you doing?
He's cute. He's so fat.
Please put my rat down.
Chubby chubster.
Stop touching pancakes, Satan!
Look at these ridiculous adverts for the R-Zone, making out like you're actually put in the game. Well, you're not put in the game. The game is just millimeters from your eye socket. That's not the same thing.
You want to get in a game? You want to be in a game? There, get in the game. So gamey. There's a shitty game pretty much lodged in my cornea.
Well, to be absolutely fair to the headgear, I did employ the other half of Octanerdle to have a go on it since both his eyes do work.
Oh, that is f***ing shit. Feels like I'm having a migraine.
Well, put your glasses on,
This
man.
is shit.
Glasses on!
Because with this eye open, I can't really see what's going on. I have to shut this eye. There's people jumping all over the bloody shop, just flying in from the side. I don't know what's going on. In fact, it's worse because now, with my glasses... Unless he's a ghost. If he was in the front room, he would be that big to start with. I'm driving down the road now. I mean, you wouldn't find a road in your front room anyway, would you? I'm certain something in my brain. There's two guys having a fight in my house. I mean, if I position it so they're kind of standing on that table over there,
Yeah.
then it kind of looks like there's some fluorescent men fighting on a table. I mean, if there's a fight going on, a fighting game, you don't want like a background of a desk, do you, with a microphone and then some paper on it.
Suppose. Although if you were a kid, you could like make your own backgrounds and then that'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? No?
You'd be too depressed after playing this.
Okay, anything else you want to say about it?
Can I take it off?
Yes.
The next released model of the R-Zone got a completely misleading advert too, once again showing footage that the unit would never ever be capable of, and acting like the screen is so big that even your mum could fit on it.
From out of the R-Zone comes something so big.
It glows.
It's humongous.
Well, that's not the first time I've had the size of something massively over-exaggerated to me. I was thinking about, king-size chocolate bars and stuff like that. Oh, and penises too.
This thing is just another Tiger LCD game that's about 3 times the size of the usual one. Released in the same year, only a couple of months after, when it has all of its batteries in, for C1s to be precise, it is heavy. You've got to use a screwdriver to take off the entire bottom of the console to get the batteries in. That is some bad design right there. This one initially came packaged in this nice box with Battle Arena Toshinden, but I have seen plastic blister hanging packs of this thing floating around on eBay and the like. I can't tell you which version is rarer because they're both very hard to find. This thing is certainly meant to be played on a flat surface. After holding it up for a bit, your arms will start to ache. This is quite nice. The screen flips up to start playing. When it does that, it automatically switches on the bulb inside. The incredibly, incredibly bright bulb. Ah! This time the cartridge is plugged into the bottom of the unit. Oh, and there's a seminal, fantastic feature of the super screen that, again, the advert really overhypes.
This is a backdrop, and you can put it on your cartridges like this. So now when you play it, your characters will be flailing around in front of a kind of colour backdrop thing. I gotta say, the box makes out like it's the second coming of Christ, so this thing better be good.
The thing is, 9 times out of 10 when you put the backdrop on, you're going to put it on the wrong way round. And it's such a pain in the arse to get the car in and out of this model of the R-Zone. You'll probably just say screw it and just have Batman fighting in front of an upside down mountain range. Now basically what you have here is a unit which is shining a light through the cartridge, and this time the image is magnified by the screen. To be fair, this is a much better playing experience than with the headgear, because you're not fumbling around with a bit of plastic that keeps falling off, and also when you're playing this one, you do look less of a dick than you did playing with the headset. What amuses me about the idea of magnifying this rubbish is that Tiger already had this thing, this one is also owned by Kingdom of Carts, for magnifying the screen of the standalone game units. It's like they went with an idea and ran with it, and ran with it, and ran with it.
Let's play the only fighting game that I personally own for the R-Zone, Battle Arena Toshinden. I gotta say, I'm very interested to find out how they get this onto this. Oh, they didn't even try at all. Now on this one, you do actually have some power over the quality of the image. On the underside, there's a knob which you turn to focus properly. And then you have this one on the side, which is for contrast. You're going to be fiddling with those knobs a lot.
This would all be well and good if it weren't for the fact that even if you get the stuff in the centre looking clear, stuff on the edges will be fuzzy. Plus, the actual screen itself is awful. It's made of some dreadful thick plastic with a sort of grainy texture. Also, the light within the unit doesn't do a good job of lighting up the screen evenly. I mean, it looks like the frigging sun in there. Now the first thing you might notice is that these characters, which I'm scrolling through using the select button, look absolutely nothing like any single one of these characters on the box. In fact, it's literally clearly the same male character with 3 slightly different outfits on both sides. This is Foe, and here he is on the R-Zone. This is Sophia, another character from the franchise, and here she is on the R-Zone. Wow, talk about false advertisement. Imagine getting this game thinking you were gonna get that, and you got this. Why bother including this female character? Oh, of course, to get boobs on the cover.
Obviously this god-awful representation of the characters is due to the restriction of the LCD screen. It wouldn't have been possible to have all of the different characters drawn onto the LCD, which means that no matter what, Tiger were only ever going to be able to make a fighting game that looks like just one guy at a Comic-Con was cosplaying as all 6 characters.
This is supposed to be a fighting game, but I'm certain that even the most seasoned fighting game player wouldn't be able to clock up a good score on this. And obviously this limited setup doesn't allow for combos anyway. 1 kick, 1 punch, and a dodge. That's all you're getting, sunshine! Aside from the fact you can barely see what's going on, the actions are incredibly delayed. There is a noticeable delay between you pressing the button and seeing the move on the screen. So by the time you see your high kick, you've already moved on to a low one.
The R-Zone is just not equipped for fighting games, and this is easily one of the worst games I've ever played.
This wasn't even the only fighting game that we got on the R-Zone. You had Mortal Kombat 3, Mortal Kombat Trilogy, Primal Rage. Tiger got those licenses and they didn't muck about. Let's frigging mess up those licenses. Let's beat them up and leave them in a ditch.
But look at this thing! They took a pile of rubbish and they put a magnifying glass over it and then they sold it. This is magnified bollocks. And that's not all.
Talk about beating a dead horse, yet another version of the R-Zone was released after the Super Screen, called the XPG. This is the one advertised on the back of the headset that I have. XPG stands for Extreme Pocket Gear. Look at this thing, so extreme. I can hardly manage, it's so extreme. In this one, light is projected through the cartridge and it's reflected on this mirror at the top. Like the headgear, the game will be shown in red. Even though now you have something more akin to a proper handheld console, you still have to play it using a damn reflection.
And finally, there was a fourth R-Zone, a PDA version called the Data Zone.
Look at this thing! I am so angry right now! PDAs were just another thing to cash in on and Tiger cashed right in. Cause you've got to have this thing for your high-powered business meeting. Your R-Zone cartridges slipped into this screen on the top left of the unit. This time, there's no mirror, but there's also no magnifier.
Because the Data Zone is so incredibly rare, I very much doubt I'll ever see one in person, but you can clearly see from the advertising material that the so-called screen is literally this tiny square screen.
And no doubt the controls layout on this thing translated to incredibly difficult playing. Now, interestingly, the PDA version does not seem to appear on the packaging of any of the games released towards the end of the R-Zone's lifespan. I also could not find any advertising for it, but to be fair, I found minimal advertising for all three of the other models. But while the XPG is very hard to get hold of, this thing is pretty much a unicorn.
I don't get it. Tiger already made a pile of vomit with this thing. Why did they go ahead and chuck up 3 more times?
There's also the question of the R in R-Zone, because I can't find definitive printed proof that it stood for reality, which is what most people assume. The original headset R-Zone was released as just R-Zone initially, and then when the second version came along, it would start to be officially named the headgear. The speed at which the other ones came out though suggests that they were already lined up, but the R can't stand for reality with them, can it? There's a lot of articles online that assert the second version of the R-Zone, whether that was officially the Super Screen or the XPG, were released because of the tanking of the virtual bar in the headgear, but that seems unlikely since graphics of the headgear are used on the R-Zone games as late as 1997, after all 4 versions of the console were released.
It's so bad, I can't play it anymore.
Then it is time to come with me.
I have one last request.
I don't do them anymore.
Please, I'm begging you. It's a reasonable request, I promise, or may God strike me down.
Alright, but be quick.
Thank you. Alright, play this.
What? No.
It's my last request.
Alright, fine. So dramatic. But it's not even that bad.
I have one more game for the R-Zone, Virtua Cop. This one came with a background, but it doesn't really add much if you play it on the Super Screen. All you have to do is move the cursor from baddie to baddie and shoot them. You have to scroll through each cursor point to get to the furthest ones though, you can't just flip between them. This is an absolutely zero effort series of consoles. This console is a cold and calculated cash grab, targeting kids who didn't know any better and parents without the money to get one of the other actual proper systems. What have you got for me?
Hello. Yeah, I think I've designed our next console.
Good, is it going to make me loads of money?
Yeah, it definitely will, but after I've made a lot of changes.
Yeah, I don't care if it's actually a good product. Will it make me money?
Maybe.
Alright, good, get it sent to the warehouse. Because I don't have a life, I spent hours trawling through gaming magazines at the time trying to find just one mention of it. Nothing. Not even on advertising pages. Clearly the gaming community didn't see this thing as a true game console, because it isn't one really, it's just a toy. I did find a preview of the Tiger R-Zone headgear in the magazine Electronic Gaming Monthly in the tail end of 1995 though. It doesn't mention how utterly crap the system is, just that it takes a while for your eyes to get used to, so either this is a paid for spot, or whoever wrote this has never played an R-Zone headgear. Look at this kid. He clearly went insane immediately after this photo was taken. I did find it in 1996 catalogues from JCPenney and Argos a year after its release. In this Argos catalogue from 1997, there's no headset advertised, just the XPG. And then I couldn't find it again after that. Ultimately, there is no way that anyone working on this pile of rubbish actually thought that they were creating something good. There is no way anyone working on this didn't go home to their partner in the evening, sit on the sofa staring at nothing, and start crying.
I couldn't take anymore.
Wow, so I'm stronger than the devil. Wow, my channel has ruined me.
This thing is complete and utter shit. I would be appalled if the demon she-beast of the 7th level of hell had vomited this out of our fetid, festering throats.
Wow, that was needlessly graphic.
Take this piece of crap. You're clearly infected with pure evil. Octavius, nothing can help you. This is your home now. Purgatory.
No, you can't leave this thing with me. Wait, but hey, don't you want your evil talisman back? Truly, a console has never allowed me to see the fiery walls of damnation. My life now, it seems so bruised, twisted, and empty, and the things I have seen, the fiery, twisting depths of hell, how close we are to the flames. You're not going to go mental, are you? Only I'm not really equipped for that. I ran out of mace last time Jim Sterling was here. Here, you take these. I'll be reminded of what I've seen every night in my dreams. Are you sure? These things go for a lot of money on eBay. Sickeningly. That back kick. That dreadful graphics. That head strap. I don't know if I'm ever gonna feel happy again. Well, what the feck am I gonna do with this? Suppose I could perform an exorcism. Hello?
Hi there, Father. Octavius said she just gave you the R-Zones?
Aye, that's right, so.
Yeah, I'll take them.
You want them? Are you sure? These things are fecking shit.
Yeah, I'll definitely take them. I'm starting to run low on retro items.
Also, apparently they carry a curse which will bring Satan to you and take away your soul.
Yeah, I'll take the risk. I need items. I need retro items.
Alright, so come pick them up. I'll be in the confessional.
Yeah, I'm on the way right now, okay?
Fair enough, so.